Hey everybody, welcome to In the Red Zone. Michael Johnston here with you, and it is time for Week 6 NFL predictions. But before we do that, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and always leave your comment. Love to see your comments. And go check out our official betting partner, BUSR. You can find them at busr.com/redzone, and where you can sign up and play there. So it is time for Week 6 NFL predictions. Going to pick every game. Went 10-5-1. No, I take it back. 9-6-1 this past week. So, not too bad. Let's see if we can improve on that this week. First game up, we got the Bucs, 7-point favorites, taking on Philadelphia. Tom Brady has thrown for 1,767 yards, 15 touchdowns on the year. Jalen Hurts lead the Eagles in rushing with 256 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Bucs defense has only given up 82 yards per game on the ground. Rob Gronkowski and Antoine Winfield Jr. are out for this game. Tom Brady is listed as questionable with a thumb injury, but I expect him to play. Eagles have 2 offensive linemen listed as questionable and 1 out, and the Eagles already had 3 offensive linemen on the injured reserve, so they're kind of thin on the offensive line. The Eagles rely a lot on the run, and they're going up against the NFL's best defensive line against the run. So I have the Bucs covering the points on the road this week. We'll move on to Miami, a 3.5-point favorite at Jacksonville. Miami is 1-4, and the Jags are 0-5. Tua Tagovailoa started throwing this week, but he's still on injured reserve. I don't expect him to play. Jacoby Brissett is listed as questionable with a hamstring injury. Wide receiver Devontae Parker is listed as out this week. Jags lose center Brandon Linder for 4 to 5 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Both teams scoring about 16 points per game. They're giving up 30 points per game. Dolphins defense is only giving up 70 yards per game rushing. Jags have been in disarray all season, really, and then they're dealing with the uncertainty of head coach Urban Meyer's future after the video emerged of him dancing in a bar with a woman who wasn't his wife. Despite the distractions and the chaos in Jacksonville, I think it's the Jags' week. I think they get their first win this week at home, and winning is the quickest way to cure any wounds, so give me Jacksonville in this one. We'll move on to Green Bay, 4.5-point favorite against the Bears. Packers coming off an overtime win over the Bengals. That was pretty interesting. While Chicago took care of business against the Raiders in Vegas, statistically the two teams are pretty even. Aaron Rodgers has thrown for 10 touchdowns on the year and 3 interceptions. Justin Fields, he's questionable after hyperextending his knee, but the latest reports say the scans reveal no major injuries. Packers lose center Josh Myers and guard Elgton Jenkins, who are listed as out this week. So how's that going to affect Green Bay's offensive line? We don't know. The Bears just seem to have found a formula that works for them. I like Chicago and the points in this game, so give me Chicago. Bengals, a 3-point favorite against the Lions. The Bengals dropped to 3-2 after the loss to the Packers, which we just talked about in overtime. Where they had a shot to win and they missed a field goal, but the Packers had a chance too and they missed a field goal, so that was pretty interesting overtime. Quarterback Joe Burrow was hospitalized with a throat contusion after the game. He's listed as questionable, but I expect him to play. Lions, they're 0-5 after losing a close one to Minnesota. Bengals are only giving up 20 points per game, and the Lions are only scoring 19 points per game. So I like the Bengals to cover the 3.5 in this one, and would take them probably up to 6. Houston Texans taking on the Colts. Colts lose just a close one in overtime to the Ravens Monday Night Football. Both teams here only with 1 win. Davis Mills, he's thrown for 669 yards and 5 touchdowns on the year with 5 interceptions. Carson Wentz, he's having a decent season since he came back. Houston only scoring 17 points per game, but their defense has been good against the run, giving up 79 rushing yards per game, basically. I just think the points are way too high for this matchup. I think this one stays a close game. Could go either way, so I would take Houston and the points here. Next game, you got the LA Rams, 10.5-point favorites going up against the Giants. Really not a lot to say in this one. Don't need to really mention stats here. I mean, the Rams are just a much better team than the Giants. New York lost to Dallas last week, 44-20, and really I see this game being very similar with a similar outcome. I have the Rams easily covering in this one. Kansas City Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites against the Redskins. The Chiefs fell to 2-3 after losing to the Bills last week. Mahomes and Kansas City really need to turn the corner now if they want to make a serious run, at a Super Bowl. So Mahomes, he's doing his part. He really is. He's thrown for 1,490 yards, 16 touchdowns with only 6 picks. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has only ran for 304 yards on the year with 0 touchdowns. And he's doubtful this week. Travis Kelce is questionable. Both teams giving up 32 points per game, but Kansas City clearly has the edge on offense. I don't think the Chiefs really have a problem covering this one against the Redskins. That team, the Redskins, are struggling on offense, so give me Kansas City. Vikings are taking on the Panthers. Carolina's a 1.5-point favorite. Christian McCaffrey, he's still out. Dalvin Cook is still out. These are two teams really going in opposite directions right now. The Vikings are 2-3, but have been playing really well, only giving up 15 points per game in the last 3 games. They only gave up 14 to Cleveland in a 14-7 loss 2 weeks ago. The Panthers start the season strong, playing great defense, but have given up an average of 23 points per game in the last 2 games, losing to Philadelphia and Dallas. Kirk Cousins gives Minnesota the edge on offense. He's thrown for 1,396 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions on the year. I like the Vikings to win the game on the road. Chargers head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Ravens a 3.5-point favorite. Both teams are 4-1. Lamar Jackson threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in the Monday night win over the Colts. The Ravens, they had to come back to win that, down 25-9. Lamar Jackson, he's just the X factor, leading the Ravens in rushing with 249 yards and 2 touchdowns prior to this game. The Chargers get the win over the Browns. Justin Herbert has been playing great for LA, throwing for 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Statistically, the teams are pretty evenly matched. The Chargers are having a problem stopping the run, and they're going to struggle to contain Lamar Jackson. But Carson Wentz and the Colts were able to put up 25 points early on in this Ravens defense. The Chargers have a much more explosive offense than the Colts. And I don't like a West Coast team really having to travel east to the East Coast to play in Eastern time zone. I just feel like taking that trip across those time zones, it's just hard to play. And I definitely think it's a factor. But I think this is a close enough game that I have to take the underdog in this one. So give me the Chargers and the points. Arizona's heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns. The Browns are 2.5-point favorites. Arizona 5-0, while the Browns fall to 3-2 after their loss to the Chargers. 2 Oklahoma Heisman winners are going to face off, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, this Sunday. And Murray clearly having the better season at this point. On the ground, Nick Chubb just seems to be on another level, rushing for 523 yards and 4 touchdowns. And it really shows how well Cleveland's offensive line is playing. Denzel Ward, though, is listed as questionable for the Browns. And if they don't have him in the secondary, the Browns, they're going to struggle a little bit to shut down that Cardinals offense that's averaging 31 points per game, while the defense is only giving up 19 points per game. The line surprises me here. Arizona should be a 2.5-point favorite. So I'm going to take the underdogs. Give me Arizona all day. Raiders are taking on the Broncos, who are a 3-point favorite. John Gruden is out in Vegas following the email controversy. He resigned on Monday night. It's just another distraction for a team loaded with talent that hasn't been able really to perform to the level they should be, really because of terrible coaching and play calling. It's been terrible for Vegas. It's a miracle that the Raiders are 3-2 at this point. Both teams have lost their last 2 games, with both giving up an average of 25 points per game in those 2 games. And the Raiders, they have the edge on offense, but have to travel to Denver to play really in that thin air, which I think is a factor. So honestly, I really would lay off this game. I wouldn't bet it, but because I need to make a pick here, I'm going to go with the Broncos at home. The Cowboys 4-point favorites taking on New England. They head up there to the East Coast. Cowboys 4-1. Patriots are 2-3. The Patriots only giving up 18 points per game and only 80 yards rushing per game. So I think Dallas approaches this game much like they did in the opener against Tampa Bay. Dak's going to have to throw it all over the field. I don't think Zeke is going to run much. He's going to be limited. So if you have him in your fantasy, you probably sit him this week. But the Cowboys are averaging 40 points per game in the last 3 games. And the Patriots are just not going to be able to stop Dak, Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb. So I think the Cowboys, you take them up to 10 in this matchup. Seahawks traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Steelers, 4-point favorite. Russell Wilson out for at least 4 weeks. So Geno Smith is going to take the helm. He played well last week. But is he going to be able to continue that as teams are going to be able to prepare for him? So I really don't know if he can. Pittsburgh has only given up 73 yards per game on the ground. So it's going to be pretty much on Geno Smith's shoulders to pull out the win. The Steelers are coming off a win over the Broncos. And really that stadium is going to be rocking on Sunday night. The Seahawks running back Chris Carson is listed as out. So the running game is going to fall on the shoulders of Alex Collins. He's only carried the ball 28 times for 124 yards on the season. So limited action for him. And I think Geno Smith, is he going to be able to single-handedly win this game for Seattle? And I just don't think he can. I think it does stay fairly close, but I don't think that they can keep it within 4. So I got the Steelers at home in this one. The Bills, they're a 5.5-point favorite taking on the Titans. This one is a lock for me. The Buffalo Bills are the best team in the NFL right now. They rolled over Kansas City in a weather-delayed game. This spread has shot up from 2.5 to 5.5, and it's probably going to go even higher by the time you watch this video. I take the Bills up to 12 in this one. And that's all I've got for Week 6 NFL picks. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, like the video, and always leave your comment and tell me what you think. Give me your picks. And then, of course, please go check out our official sponsor, our official betting partner, BUSR. Go to busr.com/redzone to sign up, and you can check them out and see what promos they have going on. You might be able to get some free play, things like that. So, hey guys, also check us out on social media if you haven't done that. The top 25 picks, our college picks, all that kind of stuff. And that's all I have for now. I will see you guys next week. Good luck in your bets. Take care. We'll see you next time.